In 2017, a small team of 8 researchers inside Google published a paper. It was called "Attention is All You Need." That paper invented the transformer, the technology that powers ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and every major AI system on Earth today. Google literally invented the technology behind the entire AI revolution. They had it first. They had the talent, they had the data, they had the money, they had everything. And they still lost. This is the story of how Google created AI before anyone else, and then watched a tiny startup called OpenAI use their own invention to threaten their entire empire. Google has been an AI company longer than most people realize. While the world thought of Google as a search engine, Google was quietly building the most advanced AI research lab on the planet. In 2011, Google created Google Brain, an internal AI research division. In 2014, Google acquired DeepMind for over $500 million. DeepMind went on to build AlphaGo, the AI that defeated the world champion in the ancient game of Go. A moment many consider the first time AI truly shocked the world. But the real game changer came in 2017. 8 Google researchers published a paper titled "Attention is All You Need." This paper introduced the transformer architecture. Before transformers, AI language models were slow, clunky, and limited. Transformers changed everything. They allowed AI to process language in parallel instead of one word at a time. They could understand context across entire paragraphs. They could scale to billions of parameters. This single paper is the foundation of ChatGPT. It is the foundation of Google's own Gemini. It is the foundation of every large language model that exists today. Google didn't just contribute to the AI revolution. They invented the core technology that made it possible. And then something unthinkable happened. Google sat on it. Google had the transformer. Google had the researchers. Google had more data than any company on Earth. Google had the computing power. So why didn't Google build ChatGPT first? The answer is one word: fear. Google makes over $160 billion per year from search advertising. That is roughly 57% of their total revenue. Every time you search on Google, you see ads. Those ads generate billions. An AI chatbot that gives you direct answers threatens that entire model. If a chatbot tells you the answer immediately, you never see the search results page. If you never see the search results page, you never see the ads. If you never see the ads, Google loses billions. Google was trapped by its own success. They had built the most profitable business model in the history of the internet, and AI threatened to destroy it. There was another problem. Google was terrified of AI mistakes going public. Google is used by billions of people every day. If Google launched an AI chatbot and it said something wrong, something offensive or dangerous, the reputational damage would be catastrophic. A startup like OpenAI could afford to make mistakes. Google could not. So Google did what large corporations often do. They studied it. They researched it. They held meetings and wrote internal memos about it. And they watched while someone else took their own invention and changed the world with it. While Google was careful, OpenAI was being bold. OpenAI took Google's transformer architecture and ran with it. In 2018, they released GPT-1. It was basic. Nobody outside the AI research community cared. In 2019, GPT-2 arrived. It was better. OpenAI initially refused to release it publicly, claiming it was too dangerous. The media covered the story, and suddenly people started paying attention. In 2020, GPT-3 launched. It was a massive leap. It could write essays, code, poetry, and answer questions in ways that genuinely surprised people. Developers started building products on top of it. The AI community was buzzing, but the mainstream public still wasn't paying attention. Then came November 30th, 2022. OpenAI released ChatGPT, and everything changed overnight. ChatGPT reached 1 million users in 5 days. It reached 100 million users in 2 months. It became the fastest growing consumer application. Suddenly, everyone from students to CEOs to world leaders was talking about AI. And they weren't talking about Google. They were talking about OpenAI. The most painful part for Google? ChatGPT was built on a technology that Google invented. Google's own researchers created the transformer. Some of those researchers had left Google and joined OpenAI. Google had given the world the blueprint and watched someone else build the house. Inside Google, ChatGPT created what insiders described as a code-red emergency. Sundar Pichai reportedly redirected massive resources toward AI. Teams were reshuffled, projects were accelerated. The urgency was unlike anything in 25 years. In February 2023, Google rushed to launch Bard, their answer to ChatGPT. It was a disaster. During the live announcement, Bard gave a factually incorrect answer about the James Webb Space Telescope. The error was spotted immediately. Google's stock dropped by over $100 billion in a single day. This was exactly the nightmare Google had feared. Meanwhile, Microsoft invested $13 billion in OpenAI and integrated ChatGPT into Bing. Someone was genuinely threatening Google's dominance. Microsoft's CEO Satya Nadella publicly said he wanted to make Google dance. And Google was dancing. Google then merged its two AI divisions, Google Brain and DeepMind, into a single unit called Google DeepMind. They launched Gemini, a new family of AI models designed to compete directly with GPT-4. They began integrating AI into Google Search with AI overviews. They were moving faster than they had ever moved before, but the damage was done. Google had gone from being the undisputed leader in AI research to playing catch-up against a company that used Google's own technology to challenge them. Perhaps the most devastating blow to Google was not the technology gap, it was the talent exodus. The researchers who wrote "Attention is all you need," the paper that started everything, almost all of them left Google. Aidan Gomez co-founded Cohere, an AI startup now valued at over $5 billion. Lion Jones co-founded Sakana AI. Noam Shazir, one of the most brilliant AI researchers in the world, left Google to co-found Character AI. Google reportedly offered him $100 million to stay. He left anyway. And in the ultimate irony, Google later acquired Character AI's technology and brought Noam Shazir back, essentially paying twice for talent they originally had. Ilya Sutskever, who worked at Google Brain before co-founding OpenAI, became the chief scientist who built GPT. Dario and Daniela Amode, who worked at OpenAI, left to found Anthropic, which created Claude. Google became the university of the AI industry. They trained the best minds, funded the best research, and watched those minds leave. The technology that Google invented is now being used against them from every direction. Google had every advantage imaginable: the technology, the talent, the data, the money, the infrastructure. They had a 5 to 10 year head start on every AI company in the world, and they still lost the first round. Why? Because innovation without execution is just research. Google treated AI as a research project. OpenAI treated it as a product. Google was afraid of what AI might break. OpenAI was excited about what AI could build. The lesson from this story is brutal and simple. It does not matter if you invent the future. What matters is whether you have the courage to ship it. Google is fighting back. Gemini is improving rapidly. AI is being integrated into every Google product. But the narrative has shifted permanently. When the world thinks about AI, they think about ChatGPT first. And for a company that literally invented the underlying technology, that might be the most painful sentence in the history of Silicon Valley. What do you think? Can Google take back the AI crown, or is it too late? Drop your answer in the comments. I'm Shadow Tech, and I will see you in the next one. Subscribe for next video.